All right, hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in once again to the Regular Guys DFS show. I am David, and we are here for another version of Picks and Parlays, brought to you by Prize Picks. And that's what this video is going to focus on this morning, guys. I think I'll try and keep it short and sweet. I've got another video. I'm doing research right now that we're going to be putting out a little bit later that we're going to deal with the Olympic basketball that's coming up tonight. We're going to look at DraftKings, the contests coming up. We're going to build a couple of lineups on DraftKings for the games that start late this evening, and we'll also have Prize Picks plays also for Olympic basketball as part of the next video we put out. But I wanted to get this video out because there is a 2:30 afternoon start, 2:30 Central Time baseball game here. So one starting in a couple hours, and I went through, and there are a couple of guys that I like in these early games. So we're just going to focus here on real quickly on the baseball, my baseball Prize Picks plays for today. Before we get into that, guys, you guys know the drill. If you please would hit the like button down below, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time we put out new videos. A lot of new videos are going to be coming down the line here. We've got the Husker Nation podcast dropping later tonight for all you Husker fans out there. Again, we're going to have another version of Picks and Parlays later this afternoon, focusing on Olympic basketball. And we're going to start getting into NFL futures more heavily this week on Picks and Parlays here because we are not that far away. And we're also going to be looking at some college stuff too. So please, again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell, and make sure you follow me on Twitter at SandoDFS. That's where I put out a lot of these notifications. If anything changes throughout the day, picks that we made here in these videos that need updated, all that kind of stuff, I put it out on Twitter. So give me a follow there at SandoDFS. All right, let's get into today's Prize Picks baseball plays. Again, I'll try and keep this video short. Guys, if you haven't signed up for Prize Picks yet, just do it. It's really fun, and you can make some decent money doing this. We kind of struggled this weekend. I didn't have any videos this weekend because I didn't play that intensely this weekend, but the golf stuff didn't go that great for us. But anyway, you're going to have some days like that. Overall, we've done very well at Prize Picks. Click the banner that you see in this video or click the link down below for Prize Picks and use the code REGULAR, and you get that dollar for dollar bonus when you sign up and put your first deposit in. You put in $100, they'll give you $100 to play with. It's just that simple. It's up to $100, but any amount you put in, they will match it dollar for dollar. So a lot of fun things going on Prize Picks. Like even today, there isn't much going on for sports, right? But we've got Major League Baseball and Major League Baseball pitching. We've got Olympic basketball tonight, soccer. I know the esports have been very popular on Prize Picks, and if you follow along on Twitter, some guys have been doing very good on esports. So all kinds of things that you can bet on with Prize Picks, and you don't have to go to a casino to do it. That's the big draw for me. I live in a state that doesn't allow actual casino gambling. I have to drive 50 miles to Iowa just to place an actual bet. So that's why we're going to go through our NFL futures. I'm putting all those things together. I'm just going to make one trip up for all the NFL futures. But like today, if I wanted to make any wagers on any of these things right here, I'd have to drive 50 miles up and then 50 miles back just to put in a few bets. So I don't have to do that on Prize Picks. I can do it right here. We're basically playing parlays, over under projected scores in both fantasy and single stat for most sports, and you just go from there. It's very easy. So let's go through who I like today. And I want to put this video out early because there is some guys in these early games that I like. We're going to start with Robbie Ray for the Toronto Blue Jays. Now on these pitching stats, I just went with strikeouts, and see, it's already moved. It's already moved. That's why you want to get these bets in as quick as you can on Prize Picks, and I'm trying to get these videos out as soon as I can because lines will move. I liked Robbie Ray for over 7 strikeouts. Well, as you can see right here, between the time I did my research and started recording this video, it's moved to 7.5. So people are jumping on that. He's been over 8 strikeouts in 3 of his last 4 and 5 of his last 7. with double-digit strikeouts twice during that time span. So I really like Robbie Ray over versus Cleveland. I'm going to make sure and jump on it here at 7.5. I wish I would have jumped on it at 6. But as you can see, these things will move. So get them in as long as you, or as quickly as you can. Well, I'm talking with Price Picks right now. I'm just going to, no. I got to respond. I had a support question earlier. Anyway, okay, sorry about that. The other guy I like for Cleveland in the same game, Eli Morgan, under 4 strikeouts. He's went 5, 6, 3, 4, and 9 in his last 5. Now, that would normally be an over lean for me. But he had 1 strikeout in his last outing against Cleveland. So do with that what you will. I'm going to play it under. The numbers tell you to kind of lean over, but they're close enough that when I factor in the fact that he only had 1 strikeout his last outing against Toronto, not Cleveland. He pitches for Cleveland. His last outing against Toronto, he only had 1 strikeout. Did not have a good outing. And as you see as we go through some of these picks here, I like some Toronto guys today. And so we can just move into that here shortly. Josiah Gray, pitching-wise. For Washington. He plays for Washington now. You got the Dodgers logo here. He was traded. He made his last start for the his first start rather, his first Major League Baseball start just a few days ago, right before he was traded, and he had 6 strikeouts. And in the only other game that he has pitched in, he came in for one in pretty long relief a couple weeks back and had 7 strikeouts in relief. So he's not the strongest play on the board, but if you want to play him, I'm going to lean over with him. Jorge Lopez from Baltimore, I'm going to lean under 3.5, 2 and 3 in his last 2, and he's had no more than 4 strikeouts in his last 5 games. So that would tell me to lean on Lopez. But the other guy I like, Chris Flexen from Seattle. Now let's see what they did with his number. Yeah, it's still at 4. I'd feel better if it was at 4.5. But like I said, these last 2 are just kind of some leans for me. He's had 3, 1, 2, 6, and 5 in his last 5. So 3, 1, 2 in his last 3 would get me to lean under on Chris Flexen. Okay, and then we're going to go into let's go into our into our Major League Baseball rotational players. Let's go to Fantasy Score. Where is he? Okay, I don't see. All right, well, we're just going to, I don't know if he came off the board. Oh, what am I doing? I'm sorry, guys, man. I'm kind of wasting your time here. Michael Wacha, 4.5 strikeouts. I like this play. I like him over. In his last 5, he's had 9, 2, 5, 6, and 5 in his last outing. So against against Seattle, Tampa Bay's playing really well right now. I like Michael Wacha. Over. His 4. Yeah, see, his number was 4 earlier. That's what's confusing me here. I was looking for his over-under to be 4. It's already went up now to 4.5. I still like him over 4.5. He's been over that 4 out of his last 5 outings. So yeah, with Michael Wacha, Tampa Bay pitcher against Seattle, I would still lean over, even though I liked it a lot better at 4. Okay, let's move into some position players here. Juan Soto. Now, we can play him for Fantasy Score only. If we could play him for strikeouts and hits, the combo of 1.5 strikeouts and hits, you can play that as well here if you're new to Prize Picks. But all the players aren't always the same for all the categories. So, sticking on Fantasy Score, Juan Soto over 8.5. I love this play. 8, 11, and 3. That's hits. I'm sorry. Yeah, a late 8 points, 11 points, and 3 points in his last 4 against Philadelphia. Okay, so let's just pull him up here. Let's pull up, and I'll show you. I'm having a tough time reading my notes, so let's just go here. Fantasy points. He's had 8, 11, and 3 in his last 3 outings. Average. But they just came off of a series against Philadelphia where he had 13, 7, 23, and 4. So I'm going to lean over on Juan Soto for fantasy points. You can't play him for hits and walks. It's just fantasy points. So let's go back over here. Bo Bichette, I like him over 8 fantasy points. He's had 3 points and 0 points in his last 2, but in the previous games before that, he had 26, 11, 13, 9, and 16. He's cooled off over the last 2 games. I just don't expect that to last very long. Bo Bichette is a guy that I love playing, and his number is 8.5, and I like him definitely over that number. Vlad Jr. from Toronto. I actually like him. Where is he? Yep. I actually like him under this number of 9. In his last 5 starts, he's had 5, 5. Now, he had a game where he had 25, where he went off, but then 7, 3, and 4. So that'd be the last 6 games. He's been under 9.5, and a couple of them pretty significantly under. So Vlad Jr. will be my under for today. Jorge Ramirez of Cleveland, I'm going to lean over 6.5 fantasy points. I'll give you his last 5, 2, 7, 17, 14, and 18. So he had a bad outing last time out. We'll see if he can bounce back against Toronto. I'm going to bet that he does. So I'm going to play Ramirez over. So we went through Juan Soto. Bryce Harper. Okay, once again, this is one of those deals where Philadelphia just came off of a series with Washington not that long ago. And fantasy points versus Washington. I just wrote down the 4-game series stuff here. 2, but 9, 24, and 13 before the last game against Washington. So, yeah, I'm going to play Bryce Harper over the 8.5. And if you can play him in single stat, yes, you can. 1.5 hits and walks. Again, in the last series against Washington, 26th through the 29th, 4-gamer, he had 1, 3, 3, and 4 combination, 1.5 hits and walks in those games. So I like Bryce Harper over in either category. A couple other guys here before we get you out of here, guys. Josh Bell from Washington. Again, I like this game. His fantasy point score is 7. I'm going to go over that. He's had 12, 7, and 16 in his last 3. Now, in that series against Philadelphia, he started out hot, 20 and 16. Then he had 0 his last 2. I think he'll bounce back. The odds tell me in the last 6 games he's went over 3 times. Good enough for me. So it's that against Philadelphia where he's went off a couple of times that I really like. Plus, he's been hot the last 3 games. Anthony Rizzo, now a New York Yankee. That is hard for me to say, but I'm going to play him over this fantasy score. Since joining the Yankees, he's had fantasy scores of 21, 27, and then his last outing he cooled off a little bit. He had 5, but I'm gonna expect him to stay hot, especially against Baltimore. I love that short porch. I think Rizzo is I think he's gonna do really, really well here as a member of the New York Yankees. Didi Gregorius from Philadelphia. I'm gonna play him under. I'm gonna play him under his 6 fantasy points. In his last 5, he's had 0, 2, 0, and 2. And then he did have 1 game mixed in there where he had 19 fantasy points. But again, in that series, his most recent series against Washington, he had 0, 2, 0, and 0. So, 0, 2, 0, 2. Sorry. And then the last guy I want to talk about, Giancarlo Stanton. I think he is only fantasy point. Let's see if I can find him. Nope, here he is. 8.5 fantasy score. I'm going to play him under. Here's his fantasy scores in his last 5. 2, 11, 0, 2, and 3. So, he is facing a pitcher in Baltimore that's making his debut as he got traded from Kansas City to Baltimore. So it's his debut as a Baltimore Oriole. Maybe I'm hoping he'll be, jacked up, ready to go, wanting to prove himself for the trade. So I like Stanton under. I also like him in hits and walks combination of 1.5. We've got 0, 3, 0, 1, and 1 in his last 5. So that's my prize picks plays for baseball today, guys. I'm going to try, again, I tried to make this video short. We've got another video coming out later this afternoon. We're going to focus solely on Olympic basketball, both on DraftKings and on prize picks. So we'll be back in a few hours with that video. Until then, please, before you leave, the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, and give me a follow on Twitter at SandoDFS. And we will talk to you here in a few hours. Thanks for tuning in, guys.